welcome to today's almost daily devotion. We are in Psalm 18, and we're going to start with the first verse, and it goes like this. I love the Lord. The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. My God is my rock, in whom I take refuge, my shield and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold. I call to the Lord who is worthy of praise, and I have been saved from my enemies. The cords of death entangle me. The torrents of destruction overwhelmed me. The cords of the grave coiled around me. In my distress, I called to the Lord. I cried to my God for help. From his temple, God heard my voice. My cry came before him into his ears. He reached down from on high and took hold of me. He drew me deep out of the waters. He rescued me from my enemy. God's way is perfect. The Lord's word is flawless. His shields all who take refuge in him. For who is God beside the Lord? I love this psalm. It goes on, it's many, many verses. I encourage you to read the rest of the psalm. It's 50 verses, so we're not going to read the whole thing right now. But it keeps going on and like this, and it's such beautiful language about the ways and the times that we experience suffering or difficulty, where we feel like we can't quite make it, where we acknowledge that we cannot do this alone. There's a verse in Philippians that gets misquoted all the time, and it says, the Lord will not give you more than you can handle, which I say is misquoted because that's not the point of the verse in context. The point of the verse in its context, in the story, in the flow of the narrative is God won't give you more than you can handle because God is going to handle it. Not you. There's all kinds of times where we are overwhelmed, where we have more than we can handle, that we are short on patience, short on time, short on energy, short on whatever we need to overcome this situation, short on the ability to heal ourselves, short on the ability to solve everything by just being more organized or more healthy or whatever. There are so many things out of our control. And we all the time experience things that we cannot handle. We're not supposed to. We aren't supposed to. That is not our job. We are not God. We aren't. As much as fun as that sounds, as much as enjoyable as it seems like it would be to be God, we are not God. Nobody's asking you to be. Nobody is asking you to be. Not your children, not your spouse, not your job, not yourself, not the world. No one is expecting you to be God, which means you are allowed to not be perfect. You are allowed to mess up and make mistakes and go and sin boldly. No, I'm not saying be destructive. I'm not saying go and do things that you know are not good and not healthy for you. But there's enough problems in the world. There's enough things that will come your way. There are enough things that will knock you on your butt that you don't need to go looking for it. And in those times, we can remember that when we cry out to God, God hears us. God rescues us from the deep waters and plucks us out and says, I know you can't swim right now. I know that your head is underwater, but I got you. I'm taking you with me. And if those circumstances do overwhelm us, if the worst happens, we will never be without God's help. And so we give thanks, even in the midst of that. And we acknowledge our dependency on God, and we acknowledge that we can't do it. We are not enough to solve every problem. And that is the good news of the gospel.